It's Randy Barton here for Extreme Faith and Fitness, independent Beachbody coach. This week's coaching moment, here's what we're going to be talking about. Sugar! Everybody loves sugar because it makes you go crazy. Everybody likes to be crazy, at least a little bit. Today we're talking about sugar addiction. Are you addicted to sugar? Studies say the majority of people are addicted to sugar. Is that you? Probably, if you're part of the average or above. And here's what we have today. I'm going to give you one tip that is going to help you kick the sugar addiction. There is one and only one thing that you can do to stop your sugar addiction. We're going to get to that in just a minute. We're going to do this in phases. First off, I'm going to show you what a sugar addiction is, chemically, scientifically, what a sugar addiction is. Then we're going to talk about preventative maintenance. We're going to talk about the one tip for you to kick the sugar addiction habit. And then we'll get into a couple different things, a couple of tips for long-term use of sugar. Let's get this out of the way first though. First off, we need to understand that all carbohydrates, 100% of carbohydrates, whether it be fiber, whether it be simple sugars, whether it be fruits, no matter what it comes down to, no matter what type of carbohydrate you have, is going to break down into the body as blood sugar. All of those are going to become blood sugar. Fact of the matter, you cannot have a carbohydrate that does not become blood sugar. And then that blood sugar is processed by insulin and all these different things with that. Let's also understand this. Carbohydrates are essential. It's called a macro ingredient that your body needs. You must have carbohydrates. They're there for a reason. They're there to fuel your body and to specifically stimulate your body to have that short burst energy, to be able to keep on going. So, very important, because if your body doesn't have carbohydrates to burn as fuel, it's going to start burning other things. Fat? Yes! Muscle? Bad. We don't want to burn our muscle. Let's get into this though. Why are people addicted to sugar? It's going to come down to this. Check this out. Boom! We got our picture of our brain here. In the picture of our brain, we have something that's called the nucleus accumbens. The nucleus accumbens. Nucleus accumbens. Have you ever heard of that before? Now you have, and you learned about it here in the coaching moment. This is the reward system of our brain. This is the reward system of our brain that says, I have done something, I like it makes me feel good. And we really get into this whole nucleus accumbens, whether you realize it or not. Everything that we do, or most of what we do because we like to do it. Things by choice. And our brain says, that made me feel good. Well, we got a problem here, because when we start to have sugars, it's an easy way to stimulate our nucleus accumbens system, and it counteracts a different system. A different system is the leptin system. The leptin system is your starvation system or your hunger system, and it tells our brain, stop, I've had enough food. I've had enough food. Either my belly is getting full, I'm satisfied, or I've had enough food for what the energy exertion is that I need for the day. And the leptin system is an essential system, and it regulates our body from engorging itself. Well, now we have a problem. Is that while we're feeding ourselves, we're putting sugary, nasty stuff into our body, which then counteracts the leptin system because insulin stops the leptin system. What happens when we eat a carbohydrate? A carbohydrate it triggers insulin to be produced. We have insulin go into our blood, which counteracts the leptin system. If you're not following me yet, if I've lost you, if you've fallen off the train, let's get back on track. Here's what we have. The leptin system tells you, I've had enough. I've had enough energy intake for the energy out that I'm going to have. The insulin says, no, keep it coming. I like all of this sugar because it stimulates my nucleus accumbens. Now, nucleus accumbens, here's what happens. You've got this little producer of your nucleus accumbens called dopamine. Dopamine is being produced. This is how your body recognizes pleasure, things that you like, whether it be from food, whether it be from chemicals, whether it be from Emotional or mental stimulation doesn't matter. It all comes back to the nucleus accumbens that is producing dopamine. Dopamine is this magic drug that filters over these receptors that say, ooh, that's good, keep it coming. And the more that we start to feed the dopamine, the more the receptors become used to the dopamine and they start to shut down. So your brain is still producing the dopamine in high supplies saying, yes, I like it, I like it, I like it. And the receptors are shutting down saying, I'm not receiving it quite as much. Can you produce some more? And it becomes our reward system of this. The problem comes in is that because the receptors have started to shut down, but our body still produces it when we see it. We see something and our body says, yes, I like it. We overthrow the leptin system. We're still producing the dopamine because we see it, we've liked it. However, we're not being satisfied. So we keep saying, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. Unique thing is, this has been proven to happen with sugar. Sugar. Now, unique thing. That's the process of becoming addicted to sugar. You see it, you eat it, it triggers the dopamine. The receptors after a while say, I'm not as receptive to that. Can you please give me more? So we eat more, it produces more dopamine, and we have this craving that cannot be satisfied through sugar. All right, let's throw sugar to the side. Let's say you're a crack addict. You're a crack addict. You go out there and you snort up some crack or whatever you do. Guess what that does? Guess what it does? It tells your body, hey, I like that. Your nucleus accumbens says, let's make dopamine. Your receptors say, ooh, that's good. And it starts the whole thing over again. The receptors start to shut down the more crack that you do. So it says, I need to have more because I need more dopamine. And so all this happens. And do you notice a really stark similarity? It doesn't matter if you're addicted to crack. It doesn't matter if you're addicted to alcohol. It doesn't matter if you're addicted to pornography. It doesn't matter if you're addicted to sugar. Chemically and scientifically, the same thing happens. The United States Surgeon General has said that sugar is America's drug of choice. What's the difference between sugar and crack? They're both white powders. The difference between sugar and crack is that one is legal and accepted and marketed for you to have more of it, and the other one is not. And that is the here-all and end-all. In fact, check out some of these. We're going to talk about sugar numbers that we feed ourselves. I'm going to show you this right now on camera, but I'm going to split over as well. I'm going to take about 5 seconds. I'm going to put this on screen. You won't hear me talking. Let's go. And we're back. If you saw those pictures, which by the way, I'm going to put these on the end for about 10 to 15 seconds. May post them on the Facebook page as well. But you can see it in sugar cubes, how much sugar is in your foods. How about this? Maybe you've seen this picture going around. The Rethink Your Drink picture shows you exactly how much sugar is in the foods that you are eating. They're the drinks that you are drinking. Look at that. Look at that sugar number of nothing when it comes to water to all the way down here. You've got like this baggie full of stuff for things like Mountain Dew. Crazy stuff. I'll put this picture at the end as well. Now, that's scientifically what happens when you start giving your body sugar. Let's look at this though. The one tip for you to kick your sugar addiction. Your one tip is this. Stop eating sugar. Mind-boggling. That sounds awfully easy, but it is going to be hard. Why? Because you have the same addiction a crack addict has scientifically in the chemicals going on in your brain, which means the same thing as an alcoholic, the same thing as a crack addict, the same thing as a sugar addict. Chemically, the same thing is going on in your brain. You could tell the crack addict, stop doing crack. The alcoholic, stop drinking alcohol. But it's not going to be that easy. But that's still the only one thing that's going to help them kick it. A lot of people will say this, oh, sugar's fine in moderation. As long as I'm going to be having the right stuff, as long as I don't take it crazy, I'm just going to step back a little bit. That's like telling a crack addict, oh, only do it every other day. It's going to be fine. That's like telling an alcoholic, stop drinking your liquor and just have a glass of red wine. What are you going to tell them? You've got to stop it. You've got to remove it from your life. You've got to remove the people from your life that are shoving it down your throat and saying it's acceptable. You've got to tell the people that are doing those things around you, stop doing those things. Maybe you're going to have to loosen up a little bit because you might be married to them and say, stop doing those things around me. Think about this. I've written down a few different tips. Let me say right off the bat, I'm about ready to do the things that I hate. Is when people say, oh, do these fancy little tips. Here's 4 tips for you to be able to kick any addiction. The fact of the matter is there's only one way to get rid of any addiction, and that's to stop doing what you're doing. Now, in that, I wrote down 6 things that might help you stop doing what you're doing, because it's not going to be easy. You follow these 6 steps, you can still be just as addicted to sugar, because if you're not ready to give it up, you ain't going to give it up. Same thing, somebody's been smoking or something, somebody's been drinking, somebody's been doing whatever. Until you are ready to walk away from your sugar and not go back, you will not give it up. You might as well stop the video now and go out and have a Twinkie. I don't care. Here's the thing though, you're going to want to be drinking a ton of water, because the fact of the matter is, water is going to be far better for you than any of these stupid juices and stuff out there. In fact, if you look at sugar content, juice is going to be worse than pop. Pop is going to be awful. Drink a lot of water. Scientifically, within the brain again, the only way to wake up those receptors is to go for a period of time without giving them any of what caused them to shut down. At least 3 weeks before the receptors see any change. At least 3 weeks. During that time, you will be going through living hell. And I don't say that lightly. The fact of the matter, it's true. You're going to be just like the crackhead that's coming off a crack. It's going to be hard. You're going to have fatigue because that same nucleus accumbens that's creating dopamine controls your emotions. You're going to have mood swings. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be completely feeling like rock bottom. You're going to have nasty attitudes. You're going to be snapping people's heads off. And the last thing that you want is for somebody to remind you, don't be eating that sugar. All right, we got stuff to cover here. Let's keep going on in this. Drinking a lot of water, though, is going to do something. It's going to flush out your system. It's also going to put you through complete agony because you're not going to want sugar. You're going to want a can of pop. Second thing is this. Don't even fall in for the fake pop. Don't fall for artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners need to be taken very much sparingly and certainly not during any type of detox. It's been proven that artificial sweeteners can create and trigger other chemicals in the brain that says you're about ready to get your sugar fix, but then you don't get it, which creates your hunger cravings to go higher. You end up eating more, you get fatter because you're eating artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners should only be re-entered in after you've gotten complete control kicking your sugar addiction. So the first thing, drink a ton of water. It's also going to fill up your belly. Second thing, you've got to make sure you cut out all the artificial sweeteners as well. Going to be very important, or you can end up blimping up bigger than ever before. Think about all the people that you know that drink Diet Pop. How many of them are really skinny and in great shape? Probably not many. We see people go and order a king size or a super size whatever in a Diet Coke. That's the American way. That's stupid. All right, next thing is this. Third thing is don't have it at home. Did you ever realize it's impossible to eat sugar if you don't have sugar to eat? Yeah, it really is. Third thing is that. Simple. Don't have it around you. Fourth thing, exercise. There is absolutely no substitute for exercise. You've got to be exercising. Also, when you exercise, it's going to release endorphins that are going to also trigger the nucleus accumbens in a good manner, in a good fashion, that you're going to have endorphins released that are going to help you feel better, especially during your time of detox of sugar. Fourth thing is this, stay in the open. What I mean by that is don't find some little private place where you can go and you can have your fix of sugar. Stay in the open, let everybody around you know that I'm not having sugar. Ask them, say, please help me on this journey, help me on this fight, and do not have it around me as well. If that means you got to skip your aunt, uncles, nieces, whoever's birthday party because there's going to be cake and ice cream, it means skip it. It means to do what needs to be done to get over it. Also this, one time cheating can ruin it all. Because those receptors are now going to be wide open again. After your time of detox, they're going to be wide open and feel the complete, full effect of sugar. And it's immediately going to tell your brain, that's what I loved, that's what I need. So you've got to stay off the sugar. You've got to stay off the sugar. Next video is going to be the difference between a complex carb and a simple carb that can help you know things for a little bit more long term. But as far as refined simple, what I mean by that is white sugar, overly refined carbohydrates that started out as whole grains, but now they're like white and rich bleach flour, need to be gone. High fructose corn syrup needs to be gone. It's going to wreak havoc on your health. Now, here's what we have. Many studies are now starting to come out and say that we have gone past the point of no return. Just like you can have a crack baby. Just like you can have an alcoholic baby when they're born. They've got these addictions already. is for over 30 years now, Americans have been addicted to sugar. And because of that, they say we may have gone past the point of no return, where now babies are being born when people are between 20 and 35 years old, which is the worst eating habits of all adults. We're having kids during that time. They're being born with sugar addictions, and then to reward any type of good behavior, whether it be from grades to doing household chores, we give them sugary, nasty junk food. We're creating them to have the mindset that says, I reward myself with nasty food. If you are a parent, for long-term success and longevity of your child's health, find a different way to reward them. Find a different way, change your reward system. But for you yourself, do yourself a favor, be an example to your family, kick the sugar addiction. You can do this. The only way you're going to do this is stop having sugar. Maybe some of the other tips can help you out. But when it comes to sugar addiction, it is an addiction. That is not an excuse to say I can't get over it. Any addiction can be gotten over. The Apostle Paul in Scripture says, the things that I don't want to do, that's the things that I do. And the things that I do are things that I don't want to do. Which shows the fact that you are not an isolated case. For thousands of years, since the beginning of mankind, people have been having addictions. Things that we do that we know we shouldn't do or don't want to do. But it can be stopped. Don't make it a generational thing. Do active, strategic planning for your children's, your kids you babysit, for whoever it is, for how you reward them. I hope you have a better understanding of a sugar addiction now. I hope that you understand that you can kick this, that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, Philippians 4:13. And I want to remind you of this through it as well. Make sure that if you're needing help, seek out help. In the Extreme Faith and Fitness, if you signed up for the coaching, let people know your goals. Let people know your addiction and post. Post that you succeeded. Post that you failed. If you're in a challenge group, you've got people that you know very well by now that can be your accountability buddies in all of this. Want to give a couple of shout outs though, as this video is getting long. Want to give a shout out to Dave. Is Dave right here? We got this guy that's going to be doing with his boys, with his daughter, with his wife, with whoever, going to be doing P90X. That's awesome. You guys are going to see fantastic and great results with that. Stick with whatever you're doing. And if you have any questions for me, by all means, let me know. This has been Randy Barton for Extreme Faith and Fitness. If you'd like to see those other pictures that we showed of how much sugar cubes is in each food, as well as rethink your drink, how much sugar is in your drinks, stick around after the screen goes black. Those are going to be on screen in just a moment. If you stumbled onto this on YouTube, subscribe up above. By all means, go to extremefaithandfitness.com and sign up for the free fitness coaching. Been Randy Barton for Extreme Faith and Fitness, Beachbody Coach. See you next time.